Hey there, and welcome to the Locker Room. Coach Gigs here, and today's message, the power of forgiveness. The power of forgiveness. You know, when I was a little boy, I was told on more than one occasion by my mother, forgive and forget. My mom would do her best to teach me this important life lesson. Now, I'm sure some of you have had parents like mine, some of you might not have, who did the same thing. Taught you forgive and forget. And others of you, well, that's a whole nother locker room message. So many people today have a hard time forgiving. And I think this is the reason why so many of us struggle to get ahead, and we don't know why. The first place that I really would hear this would be at church. Like all good Catholic boys, I learned this as a part of my confirmation as a Christian. It was told to me that I needed to pray for forgiveness for my sins, and that when I did, God would forgive me. Now, that all sounds good, but too often I found myself struggling to forgive others for what they did to me, and more importantly, I struggled forgiving myself for the things that I've done that I felt I was going to hell in a handbasket for sometimes. Folks, forgiveness is at the center of all healing, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Forgiveness is the key for reconstructing those bridges between a man and a woman. Forgiveness is the key to infinite power and influence. Forgiveness is often the key to physical healing. Now, if you don't believe that, then take a look at the life of Jesus himself as one example, who right before his last breath, as they hung him on that cross, said to God, "Forgive them, for they not know what they do." He asked God to forgive the same people who would put him on this cross and have him there until he died. Forgive them, for they not know what they do. And there is the key. Of course, if you look at the situation, of course they knew what they were doing in the physical and present realm, but the boss knew that deep down, the boss that is on the cross, that deep down these people were blinded to him. And so he asked God to forgive them for their blindness. Many years ago, a man who had both befriended me and ran one of my companies found himself in deep trouble because of a gambling disease. And because of this disease, he stole a lot of money from me. I struggled to get over this because he took me in like a family member. During holidays, me and my family would be with his and his family for years. While at the same time this was going on, he was stealing from me. As you can imagine, I struggled for a while to get over this. And ultimately, I did. I forgave him and moved forward. Not long ago, someone with whom I had had a negative experience with many years ago would publicly say to me in front of all others that he forgave me. And part of that happened because he saw me in a different light because of my partner, David Ackerman, who he happens to like an awful lot. The other part, I think, that helped this individual to get over this situation with he and I is that I had forgiven him long ago, and I had been very nice to him continuously, even though he was still being, well, you know, as kids, we would tell our mom this, he's being very mean to me, Mommy. So he was mean. But recently, all that came to an end. A shout out to you, Big D. I love you and thank you for forgiving me. Now, let's change the world together and show other people how to forgive themselves and those who've hurt them. And when you and me, Big D, do this together, along with everyone else in this locker room, we are for sure going to be living our best lives, helping others to do the same. Thanks for joining me today, gang, and we'll see you tomorrow in the locker room. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed and feel the Daily Locker Room has served as an inspiration in your life, why not share it with a friend by sending them the daily message?